Now, I will tell you that I was forever very skeptical around making offers on market. That is because I got exposed to off market first, and I ended up buying a home investor franchise and doing the whole off market thing until recently when interest rates went up and a lot of the inventory that actually just sat stale. I noticed that my profit margins were going down. Now, this didn't happen completely nationwide, but I'd probably say 70% of the markets got real hit when interest rates went up. What ends up happening is you're still paying for overhead, you're still paying for advertising. And whenever you sell a deal, you're selling that deal for maybe half of the gross revenue or profit margin that you were expecting. And so, with that, I had to change. I had to figure out a way that I can actually generate revenue without all of the overhead, the marketing costs, and also make offers consistently without having to spend money in advertising. And so I went back to the drawing board and I figured out that I could do this with on market properties. Now, this is proof right here of a closing that we have actually that happened here yesterday. We should be funding today of a assignment fee and reimbursement of earnest money of 7,205. Now, I know you may be thinking, Joel, that's really not 100,000 or $40,000. Yes, but it did not cost marketing ad spend. And so I've been full circle in this journey, starting off having a big team, having to lay everybody off, getting my expenses right, ramping back up, having to lay off people, and enough to understand that there's certain ladders to this game. The first one is just understanding what is off market, what is a motivated seller, what is wholesaling, assignments, and novations, right? Learning what that is and kind of understanding that process. The second piece is, well, if you want to quit your 9 to 5 or just supplement your income, you don't have a lot of time and probably you don't have a lot of money. That's why you're looking into a money opportunity. And so this is where this comes in. If you could focus the next 6 months, I'm not talking about get rich quick scheme. I'm not talking about, overnight success, but if you could focus the next 6 months on talking to 10 motivated sellers, and that includes on market, and just putting towards marketing spend $1,500 to $2,000 towards marketing, you will be able to do 6 figures a year. And I'm proving it right here, right now. And so the cool thing about this is you can do this completely part-time. You can do this part-time. And I show this in our free Skool community. So you should definitely join network because this is literally what we talk about is just being able to learn how to wholesale and novate for free nationwide from your house, from your home office. Then, really start implementing part-time and then scaling all the way up to having acquisitions, agents, and all that stuff. Those are three different phases, the learning, the actual doing part-time, and then actually scaling up. And so with that said, here's a couple of things that I want you to do is first of all, define the criteria of actually finding a deal on the MLS. So what does that look like? So for example, this is a deal I'm going to make an offer on. I'm going to make it live. I'm using PropWire. It's completely free to use. You can also do batch leads. I use batch leads more for the comping and understanding what the equity is and kind of getting more fresher data, if you would. But you can use either. They both work. What I would say is that on batch leads, the agent data is a little bit better from what I have seen. And so, for example, on this deal right here, it's been on the market, let's see, 294 days on the market, right? It's been, and it's listed right at property value. And you can understand a couple of things that I look for is like, how's the landscaping? How's the yard? How's the inside? Is it really updated? You can see that it has stain, like it's not a well updated home. They're trying to sell it as is for pretty much top of the market, and you're going to get a lot of no's, and that's okay. But I'm going to show you kind of our process, what that looks like, just to make it super easy. So what I do is I go ahead and I get every morning I get notices of new properties that fit the bill, meaning they've been on the market for more than 60 days. they have high equity, okay? And they're listed. And when I get those notices, I go ahead and take a look, and I literally start off with 50% of what the property value is, because that's where we need to be at. For properties to be updated, it's not cheap. Contract, labor, materials, all that stuff is like super expensive. And I don't care what agents say that they're listing it, they're doing a disservice to their homeowners by listing it correctly. But that's where we come in. And we're a solution for them. And so literally, I just go ahead. I already have this form. It's built into our CRM. You don't need a CRM to start off with, but our members are actually taking action. They just use this form. And so right here, I'm going to look for the property in batch leads, just because actually I can probably just do it right here. Let me see. So on the left side, I've got the property. And then on the right side, I've got really the information that I need. Quick tip is to use the state regulated contract. Real estate agents, they're just going to ignore your calls and conversations all the time if you don't provide or use their state regulated contracts, okay? So what I'm going to look for here is the MLS listing information. So I'm going to get his contact info. Just going to add it here, type it in. Then you need the address. You need the legal description. And again, this goes back to your state's regulated contract. You can get a copy online typically. And here's the MLS cash offer sales price and earnest money deposit. There are services that can help you like raise credit cards at 0%. We've used like Fund and Grow. There's many others, I guess. But I always recommend putting 1% of the earnest money deposit. Any clown, and honestly, I have no other name for them, that put like $10. When you're dealing with real estate agents, they're already skeptical when dealing with investors. Now, they understand that they've been listed for a long time and that they're probably not going to get the listing price. A lot of them, honestly, they don't do many deals per year. Some of them may get offended. Not saying that this is the case for this guy, but some of them may get offended. And so bottom line, it's a volume play. Like that's what it is right here. So you can see that on batch lease, the estimated value is about 149. Here's 150. So literally what this is telling me, it's been stagnant on the market. Honestly, I don't like using this after repair value. I think it's way off. I don't know why batch has it here, but do not use that. And so this is overpriced. It's been sitting on the market for way too long. Obviously, it's overpriced. And so here we're just going to do 50%. So 75,000 in this case, and then 1% of the cash offer sales price. And so we're going to click the button right here, and it's going to go ahead and generate a contract in our system that is ready to go. And so like right here, I already have it set up. And for those of you that have, our CRM, it's already preloaded for you here. I'm just going to click set signing order so that I can finish the document. I'm going to click save, and I'm going to click send. Always do email and SMS. And so at this point, this stage, we're going to be getting at this point, at this stage, we're just going to get the agreement here, just to e-sign. You can notice that already the earnest money deposit stuff is built in here. Typically, I like to put 21 days out. Now, I'm going to tell you that at first, it's probably best for you to focus on acquisitions, because what you want to do is you can partner with wholesale brokerages to give them the deal to sell it forward. And it's in their best interest to help you out and give you like live feedback. And that way you can focus on acquisition, because you're part-time. right? You're just doing it part-time. And so at this point, that agreement has been sent for e-signature towards that agent. So it's in their box in our CRM. We're just going to look for that opportunity. It's already populated. And notice that we have two pipelines. One's for motivated sellers, one's for MLS agents. And honestly, these agents, they don't ever pick up the phone. Like, they just don't pick up the phone. They don't. So doing it this way, what I found is that when you do it this way, you're already putting an offer forward. And with our system, it just follows up. It says, hey, an offer is in your inbox. Can you please review it and present it? Let us know. When they reject it, which it's going to be probably around 30 of them that rejected, but one of them may come back for a counter, right? And at that point, you negotiate, okay? And so it's just sitting stale on market. This is a path for them to be able to actually get paid, because as real estate agents, they don't get paid. And a lot of them only do 1 or 2 deals a year. They take this listing because it kind of like just fell on their lap. They price it wrong. And then eventually the homeowner is like, well, this house is vacant. It's costing me money. Like, does it really make sense to keep it for much longer? And so eventually you'll get a deal, right? And this is like zero cost. I literally just sent an offer. So if you can send 10 of these a day, right? Like 10 of these a day, you don't have to be a market expert. You just have to have the right systems, the right agreement, and just like I showed you. I literally just showed you. And just follow up with these people. You can do this part-time without any marketing ad spend. And this is especially good for markets that are on a downward trend, for markets that have a lot of inventory. So Texas used to be really hot. It's not the case anymore. And so for markets that you see that there's a lot of stale listings, stale properties, what you want to do is you want to contract at the right price on market, and then off market to your investors or your dispo network, your wholesale brokerages, let them dispo it. You focus on getting deals closed, getting deals on their contract, getting them closed, put a due diligence period there, because a lot of times these have a lot of issues that are just not disclosed at the beginning. And just have a conversation and be relentless, be resilient, because there is no other way. So let me know what sort of questions you have. I'd love for you to join our Skool group community. It has agents, it has real estate investors. We teach you for free how to wholesale and novate properties from your house completely over Wi-Fi. And if you're ready to implement, we have, some programs there to help you with that. That doesn't break the bank. So with that said, see you guys on the next video. God bless.